What's up, what's up, what's up? This is your girl Nikki and welcome to Talking to Nikki. I know it's been a while. I didn't feel like recording a video today, getting on camera, but I came to be present in another way. But yeah, I've been, of course, dealing with my own shit, you know. We are all human beings, spiritual beings living a human experience or whatever. But I wanted to talk to you all about shadow work today, right? Shadow work. And if you're into spirituality, which I hope that you are, if you found this video, if you found my page, my channel, or whatever, it's basically what I talk about, real life shit, spirituality, being a black woman, dealing with the day to day of being a black woman in America, in the world, in this day and age. But when I first started on my spiritual journey a few years ago, almost four, probably, yeah, about almost 4, maybe 5 years ago, whatever. No, close to 4. But anyway, that's not important. What's important is when I started on my spiritual journey, all of the books that I read and people that I spoke with and articles that I read and things like that, I always brought up the aspect of shadow work, right? And being that I was new to spirituality, I had no idea what shadow work was. I didn't know what they was talking about. I didn't know what it was supposed to do. Everyone and everything that I read made it sound like it was just this big, hard thing to do, and it was gonna be so hard to do, and just made it so elaborate to where I was scared. I was like, I don't want to do that. But the thing about the situation is, guess what? You do shadow work every fucking day. We do shadow work every day, living this human experience. You do shadow work every day, and you asking yourself, what is shadow work? Like, Nikki, girl, what the fuck is shadow work? So basically, shadow work is just, okay, so first of all, what is your shadow self? Your shadow self is the things that you hide from people, and also often too, sometimes we hide it from ourselves. Things that you don't want to deal with, hurts, traumas, the intrusive thoughts that you have, the situations that you've dealt with, that you have hidden away from yourself in the world at large, right? And the thing about it is that thing about it is when you are on this spiritual journey and becoming your most authentic self, you have to incorporate your shadow self, your shadow side, right? You have to, because that's the totality of yourself. I'm not saying that you have to act on the promptings of your shadow self. It doesn't mean that you have to live in the shadow. What it is it's a duality. You can't have the light without the dark. You can't have the dark without the light, right? You know what I'm saying? So the things that you have been through and the traumas that you have experienced over time in this world is hiding in your shadow, right? It's hiding in your shadow. It's repressed. Things that you have repressed that you don't want to deal with. It's unconscious, right? It's unconscious because we store so much in our unconscious. We store so much shit in our unconscious. It picks up. That's where you get your subliminal programming and all of that shit and whatever. You pick up so much. We only really consciously realize and know the things that we pick up probably not even 50% of the fucking time. Your subconscious holds so much, and that is why shadow work is important. While you're getting to know yourself on your spiritual journey, while you're reprogramming your mind, that's basically what it is. Reprogramming your mind, going back to those times where you felt less than, or someone made you feel less than, or you allowed yourself to be treated a certain way that didn't really agree with you, when you didn't speak up, things of that nature. We have that in our shadow. We have that in our subconscious, right? We have that in our subconscious, unconsciously filing that shit away. And what it is it gets so cluttered like a fucking filing cabinet that you just throw junk mail in all the fucking time, right? You know, you have to open that file cabinet one day and start picking that shit out and going through it, throwing away what you don't need, seeing if you can, get some use out of whatever, if you got some good coupons in there, shit like that. But see, I didn't understand what shadow work was because everybody made it seem like it was just this big thing that was going to rip me apart from the inside out, and I was going to have to rebuild myself. And in some aspects that is also true too. Shadow work don't have to be so dark, because when you think of shadow, you think of the darkness, you think of hidden, you think of unconscionable shit, right? But that's not always the case. Your fear hides in your shadow. Your traumas hide in your shadow. The sadness, the things that hurt you, all of those things hide in your shadow, right? And to be a whole, authentic you in your totality, you have to embrace that shadow side. You have to bring those things up, and you have to look them in the eye, right? And you have to analyze them, detach from, right? You have to detach yourself from these things and try to come at it and look at it objectively to see, why did I store this in my shadow? What about this triggers me? Things like that. You have to think about that. And me, myself, personally, in my own spiritual journey, I ran from my shadow self. Not thinking that I was running from it. But it's like you're on a fucking treadmill. You ain't going nowhere fast. You're going nowhere fucking fast. Trying to run from your shadow side, not knowing that that's attached to you like the skin on your fucking bones. You can't get away from that. That is a part of you. Okay? That is a part of you. Embrace your fucking shadow self. And if it's some shit in your shadow that you don't want to look at, all the more reason to look at it. Because guess what? Guess what? That's what'll hold you back from being the person that you want to be in this world. That's what'll hold you back from walking fully in your purpose and being unapologetically you. You know what I'm saying? What was some of the things that you were growing up with? The abandonment issues, people pleasing, codependency, not knowing what love is. All of these things can be looked at in your shadow, right? But you gotta feel it to heal it, right? Sometimes you gotta re-break that bone so that it can heal right. Because sometimes, we sprain our ankle or we break a bone or whatever. Say you broke your arm when you was 5, but your mama never took you to the emergency room to get it set properly, but it just healed and it healed wrong. So then she finally decided to take you, and they say, oh, well, this bone healed wrong. We got to break it, re-break it, and set it right so it can heal right. That's your shadow. You got to re-break those bones so that they can heal right. So that you can then use it as a stepping stone, so that you can then incorporate it into your totality and use it for the betterment of yourself. What they always say, what the enemy meant for your bad, God turned it around in your favor. You understand what I'm saying? What you hid in your shadow, being ashamed of and afraid to deal with, you gotta go and dig that shit out. Look at it and say, I'm not gonna look at you and keep you in my shadow no more. I'ma see what it is about you that hurt me and triggered me so, and I'ma change the narrative for myself. I'ma heal myself from this so that I can then be fully who I was always meant to be. Because guess what? The real you, the real authentic you will always be hidden by your shadow self unless you learn how to bring it up and heal it on your own terms, right? That's healing on your own terms, at your own pace. It's not a race. You know what I'm saying? It's not a motherfucking sprint. It's a marathon. This shit is ever going. It's always going. It's going to always be something. And guess what? As long as you got breath in your body and you a spiritual being living a human experience, it's going to be shit subconsciously being stored in your shadow. And that you're going to continuously healing is not something that ever ends. You understand what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you can heal a cut. Cool, you can heal a cut. It scab up, that scab fall, you grow new skin, all of that. But healing on a spiritual level never ends. It's constantly something that you gotta repurpose, right? Repurposing your shadow self so that you can bring it into your light body and incorporate it into your everyday being. Because guess what? Once you shine something, the light on the shadow, it don't seem so fucking bad anymore. It's not so bleak, right? We as human beings always tend to feel like we are I lost it, excuse me. But we as human beings always tend to feel like we are damn, what the fuck was I trying to say? I don't know, but I lost it. But anyway, we always feel like we gotta show the world our best face. What your mama always told you. I don't know, somebody in your family, an old head always told you. Don't never leave out your house looking any type of way. Always put your best foot forward. Always step out in your best. You know what I'm saying? Don't never go to the store with your bonnet on or your scarf on your head. Wash your face. You know what I'm saying? Put some clothes on. Look like you care about yourself. You understand what I'm saying? But when you doing healing and you taking that shadow and you shed light on that shadow, you bringing it to you shining the sunshine on a shadow. It eliminates the shadow. Okay? Once you take something and you shine a light on it, it no longer scares you. You don't have a reason to fear something that you met head on. You understand what I'm saying? Because running from your shadow work and you running from your healing. You like a fucking dog chasing its own tail. You understand what I'm saying? So stop running, stand still, turn around, and walk back. And meet your shadow self head on. Right? Meet it head on. Meet it head on, because running from it ain't gonna work. It's gonna always be with you. You know, you're ultimately running from yourself. Don't run from yourself. Meet yourself head on, because guess what? Our inner child is also in our shadow self, right? That inner child healing that we all need so bad, it's in our shadow. So why you running from 8-year-old you? Huh? Why you running from 8-year-old you? That child chasing behind you, and guess what? All they want probably is a hug. Add a girl or add a boy. You're doing a great job. I'm proud of you. You feel me? Sometimes it's as simple as that. And sometimes it's as hard as reliving or trying to bring up and deal with a rape, a molestation, a heartbreak, being abandoned, abandonment issues. Sometimes it's as hard as that. You understand what I'm saying? But guess what? I'm a victim of molestation. I was really young when it happened. Changed my entire life. Changed my entire life. I used to cry and ask God, why me? Why did that happen to me? And 9 times out of 10, it's usually somebody that we know and we trust, right? We know them, we trust them, we feel safe with them. 9 times out of 10, more often than not, it's somebody that's supposed to love us. That hurts us and that does that to us. But see, as a little girl, my mama kept me in a church. My granddad was a preacher. His brothers, they were preachers. I grew up in the church, right? My mama was a praying woman, still is, right to this day. A praying woman. And she instilled prayer and the importance of prayer and having a relationship with God in us, and the importance of having faith and forgiving those that harm us, right? So I remember it like it was yesterday. I was in the second grade. I had to be no more than, I want to say 7. Yeah, probably 7. Yeah, I was about 7. And my mom used to pray, teach me and my brother, teach us prayers all the time, and tell us to pray all the time and continue to forgive and take us to church and all of these things. And so after that happened with me, I was, confused. I was hurt. I was angry. I was so sad. I was so sad. I was so very sad. And I feel like I got depressed for a time, I believe. But then I found myself, I was in my room and I had this castle. I had got a Barbie doll castle for Christmas or whatever. And I remember it like it was yesterday. I was sitting in my room in the corner, and I used to talk to myself all the time. I still do. I still do, because guess what? I'm the best counselor I ever get, you feel me? But I was sitting there and I was, just talking out loud, right? I started praying. I had started praying for the person that molested me and broke my heart and hurt me and traumatized me and changed the course of my life forever. You understand what I'm saying? I prayed for him. 7 years old, a child, and I prayed for him. And I asked God to forgive him, because I said, God, please forgive this man, because he knows not what he did. You understand what I'm saying? And if I had the presence of mind and the heart to forgive someone that had wronged me so horribly at that age, I had the presence of mind and heart to forgive him at that moment and ask God to forgive him. You understand what I'm saying? I can look back on that time in my life and know that, girl, it's so much that you can do with that. It's so many ways that shit changed me, and I continuously have to do shadow work behind it, because guess what? That's in my shadow. It's something that's in my shadow. It is always going to be there. Always, 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 always. Right? But what the enemy meant to destroy, God turned it around for me to use it. You understand what I'm saying? It helped shape me. It began the shaping of me. You know what I'm saying? Into the woman that I am today. And I always find myself thinking, well, damn, who could I have been? Who could I have been had that not happened to me? Who could I have been? Like, how different would I be? You know what I'm saying? And I was so angry then. I was so angry. Although I had asked for his forgiveness, right? Although I had asked God to forgive him, I asked God to forgive him. But see, I hadn't forgave him. See, at that moment, I felt like I had, but I was asking God to forgive him. You know what I'm saying? Not myself. So as I grew older and angrier, I went through a whole rebellious stage. I done did so much shit that I might take it to my grave. You understand what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, it shaped me, and it lived in my shadow for so long, so I had to bring it up. Even now, I still have to dig that out of my shadow. It's still knock on my door. You understand what I'm saying? That trauma don't go away. It does not go away. So that's what I'm saying. Saying shadow work, it's never ending, baby. Your healing journey don't never end. Your healing is not a destination to get to. You feel me? Healing is not a fucking destination. It's a way of life. How you living? Shit, I'm healing. How you live? I'm healing. I'm blessed, and I'm healing, and I'm thriving. You understand what I'm saying? They got this thing in the spiritual community, this term that they call them wounded healers, right? But see, at the end of the day, everybody been wounded in some type of way, traumatized in some type of way, got some type of PTSD, some type of, things that they done dealt with. We all do. We all do. The thing about the situation is, I could have took that and used that and as a fucking excuse. You hear me? As an excuse to be a bad person, to go around hurting people because I was hurt. But I thank God for my mom having the presence of mind and so much faith in God and that foundation, laying that foundation of faith, forgiveness, you know what I'm saying, in me, as instilling it in me as a child, to where it's something that I still stand on today, even though I'm not religious anymore. I'm very spiritual now at 32 years old, and I teach my son spirituality. He knows all about God, the creator, his ancestors and shit like that. You feel me? And he's 6. That boy's so advanced for his age. I thank God for him every day. But I worry about him. See, that shadow and that trauma from that molestation that happened, it makes it hard for me to trust people, right? That's something in my shadow. That's something that I need to work on. Trusting people. Because it's something that I went through. You understand what I'm saying? That's something in my shadow that I have to work on. Actively work on. Consciously work on. You understand what I'm saying? It's hard to trust when you go through traumas like that and experience traumas like that. You put it in your shadow and you wonder why none of your relationships is working out. Why you can't keep a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or why, your friendships go down the drain, or you choose the wrong friends. You allow the wrong people in your fucking energy. It's because you got that trauma, those unhealed traumas in your shadow, and you're still in survival mode because you ain't did no shadow work to forgive yourself and to forgive those who wronged you, and to recreate the narrative around situations that happen in your life. That is shadow work. Changing the narrative around the things that happen in your life that hurt you. You understand what I'm saying? And some things you can't change the narrative around. Some things you just gotta forgive yourself for. You gotta forgive the person that created the trauma, that was involved in it. And then you gotta forgive yourself. Because we always self-blame. It's nothing that I could have did to stop that man from touching me as a 7-year-old child. Ain't a damn thing I could have did. You understand what I'm saying? I had to forgive myself for that. I played the blame game forever. I hated my brother until years back, right? I had to forgive him. I had to forgive myself. I had to place blame where the fucking blame lay. You understand what I'm saying? That trauma and those things that we had in our subconscious, in our shadow, that we think as an adult that you got over, but you can't have a healthy relationship because you're still living through that trauma on a daily fucking basis. You understand what I'm saying? You stop yourself from growing into the person that you came here to be when you don't deal with your shadow. Because guess what? If you don't deal with your shadow gonna deal with you. It's gonna show up in everything. It's gonna show up in everything. You cannot run from it. It is a part of you. So it's best to turn your ass around from running and face that shit head on, and you deal with it. If you gotta cry, cry. Baby, cry. Crying is healing to the soul. Cry. Scream. Break some. Get you a punching bag. Beat that motherfucker up. Do what you gotta do, but do something. Do something. Shadow work ain't hard. They make this people, the spiritual community, they make that shit sound like climbing Mount Everest. You understand what I'm saying? They make it sound so fucking hard, but it's not. It's not. All you gotta do is go within. Writing is good. I'm a procrastinator. Let's be clear. I'm working on myself. Don't judge me, bitch. I ain't judging you. Anyway, um, but it's ironic because I like to write. But see, I'm currently working on stopping sabotaging myself. See, self-sabotage is you not doing things that you know that you should be doing. I do it all the time. Or don't do anyway. But writing is good. But I've started to write. I got millions of journals, excuse me, whatever. I started to write. I have been doing shadow work. I really have. I've been doing shadow work, and you know what? If you don't want to speak it out loud, write it down, baby. Write that shit down. But you gotta get it out. You have to get it out of you. Everybody ain't been molested. Everybody ain't been through something like that. But maybe you were neglected as a child. Maybe your emotional needs weren't met. That's something that you can do shadow work on. You know, you can write a letter to the inner child, young you, child you, and say all the things that you wanted somebody to say to you at that age. You understand what I'm saying? And forgive yourself. And forgive them for not being what you needed at that time. Forgiveness is for you. It is not for them. And when you're doing shadow work, boy, you gotta be a forgiving motherfucker. You hear me? You're gonna have to forgive yourself over and over and over again. You're gonna have to forgive the people that wronged you and hurt you over and over and over again. You're gonna have to. Cause it's gonna be days that you feel like you good. You skipping in the goddamn field of daisies. You hear me? Good, but it's gonna be those days when it's sunny outside, but it's raining in your house. Okay? You gotta forgive yourself for all of those things. You gotta forgive the person that hurt you. You have to, because forgiveness ain't for them. That shit is for you. Because I guarantee you the person that wronged you and hurt you is living their motherfucking life la vida loca. You feel me? They goddamn living their life like it's golden. And you hurt. But guess what? Karma is real. And the motherfuckers gonna reap what they sow. But guess what? You have to work on you. That's your job. Working on you is your fucking job. And then when you work on you, you use that shit, those bricks and shit that motherfuckers knocked down and tried to box you in with, imprison you, and that you allow as an adult to continue to imprison yourself. You knock them shits down and you use those motherfucking bricks to build stairs. You use those motherfucking bricks to build stairs. And you step up on them stairs and you walk up on them motherfucking stairs and walk into your purpose with your head held high. You understand what I'm saying? That shadow is something serious. My shadow stopped me from creating this YouTube channel, and I posted it over a year ago. But guess what? Ain't no time like the present. I forgive myself for that. I forgive myself for holding myself back from my greatness. Somebody needs to hear what I got to say. Somebody. And somebody needs to hear what you got to say. Somebody needs to benefit from the pain that you endured, right? Turn that pain into purpose. Because my pain is my purpose, period. All those motherfucking stones that a motherfucker threw at me, bitch, I used them. And I'm building a foundation with them hoes. You feel me? I'm building a foundation with them hoes. I'm forgiving myself. I'm doing my shadow work. And I hope that you are too. I hope that you can start to do yours too. Consciously, not unconsciously. Consciously. Because we unconsciously do shadow work when you crying and you don't know what's wrong with you. You're doing shadow work because guess what? That shit gotta go somewhere. It gotta go somewhere. It got to get out of you. It got to go somewhere. So you crying and you don't even know what you're crying for. That is unconscious shadow work. You are unconsciously doing shadow work. So how about we don't unconsciously do shadow work anymore? How about we consciously make the decision to work on the things that we have put in our shadow, that we have hidden in our shadow from ourselves even. Shine a light on that shit. And if it take you all day, you ain't gotta do it all in one walk. You feel me? But start somewhere. Start somewhere because you're the person that's gonna benefit from it greatly. So that's my TED talk for today. I hope that this helps someone. I pray that you continue to heal and that you know that you are loved and that you are destined for greatness. And can't nobody be you but you. Stop walking in your own shadow. Ashe.